Todas las hadas del reino is a novel that Laura Gallego, which is the name she's known after, published like a few years ago, but I read it this summer and I really enjoyed it. In case you don't know Laura Gallego, she's a really famous YA fantasy author, a Spanish author actually. Today we are going to talk about Todas las hadas del reino, which would be something like all the fairies of the realm, and as you can probably see from the cover and the title, is going to be focused on fantasy, kind of fairy tale land-esque. What she did was to focus or put the spotlight on the fairy godmother, like the Cinderella fairy godmother kind of type. In our case, she's called Camellia, and she's one of the best fairy godmothers in the land, and actually she's able to grant all the wishes to her, people that she takes care of. In her case, her specialty is actually matchmaking, love matchmaking. So she normally managed to, create this kind of perfect matches for her proteges, which is incredible. But at some point at the beginning of the novel, she is put or placed with a case that is a little bit weird, quirky, because she's going to try to help a stable boy called Simon that is in love with the princess of a part of this realm. So she goes back to the kind of old fairy tales, and she managed to convince Simon to actually create try to get closer to the princess, and even go through a quest to gain the princess' heart. The problem that things don't get done as easily as Camilla would want. So in this story, Laura Gallego managed to create a fable that, even though has like elements from the Grimm's tales, at some point you see a glass slipper or a red hood or a red apple, but these elements are not overbearing. They are placed exactly where they need to be for the meaning of the plot, which is not recurring to actual old fairy tales, but to serve to this fairy tale in particular. And what I love the most is that she's able to create this kind of fairy tale world, very realistic, with very nice kind of almost Disney descriptions, where you feel like you're in the forest or in the castle or in the woods fighting the wolf. But you actually also see dark, as the story progresses, you can also see dark passages where what in real life, or what you thought it was kind of Disney-esque, it's actually turned really dangerous and dark. And what I love the most is that she's able to combine all of that, creating also new kind of fairy tale-esque creatures. Maybe they are focused or based on other kind of traditional fairy tale characters, but she creates these ancestral kind of creatures, which are animals that are able to think and to talk. I love how she's able to combine all of this with her own tale, with her own twist that you don't see coming. There's like almost the second half of the book is like another different story, and you don't see that coming at all. So you are like almost on the verge of fear, because what you thought in the beginning it was going to be easy turns out to change everybody's lives. So this is one of the books I wanted to talk about, because next to that I read Por una Rosa, which is a short story collection based on one fairy tale, Beauty and the Beast, that was released when the Beauty and the Beast Disney movie, the last adaptation, was actually also released in the cinema. So it was like much in the same week. This short story collection is actually written by Laura Gallego, who is the author we just mentioned. Also the Spanish YA author Javier Ruescas, and the Mexican YA author Benito Taibo. These three authors wrote three different stories based on this tale, but giving it its own twist. So, why I link it Todas las hadas del reino with this book in particular? Because Laura Gallego managed to create a short story based on this world that we just mentioned, the world of fairy tale like stories that we had in Todas las hadas del reino. Is also the basis for this short story, which is actually a prequel to the novel. The thing is that I would recommend you to read the Todas las hadas del reino first, and then go to Por una Rosa, or at least the short story that is there, because there's a little bit of a spoiler. The funny thing about the story of Laura Gallego in this short story collection is that she's able to focus a little bit more on the beast background story, which is not normally the main focus of the Beauty and the Beast. So you see how several characters that are secondary in the first book I mentioned become more central, more important, more protagonic in this short story. And also, this short story includes, as I said before, Javier Ruescas' version, which is actually a very interesting twist that I didn't see coming, using elements from the real kind of version of the Beauty and the Beast, like the real main fairy tale that we know, apart from the Disney story. And also, Benito Taibo's story, which is my favorite, is able to, instead of using a fairy tale land or a fantasy kind of a story setting, he uses a realistic setting and uses a lot of metaphors to link it to the real kind of Beauty and the Beast story that he wants to tell. So both of these stories are written in Spanish, as I said, but I mainly recommend you to read those. Maybe the short story is easier. You could read this if you had an intermediate kind of level, because they are short and they have beautiful drawings that can help you to understand the story. But in case of Todas las hadas del reino, I would suggest that you read it if you have an intermediate, almost upper level. But if you are at intermediate level, I think you will do it just fine. This is it. This is my review. I hope you enjoy it. It's one of my favorite books of 2017, I think. I would love to have retellings that, apart from being retellings, actually have like a secondary or more important plot than just doing a copy of the original fairy tale. Have you read any books like that? Any good recommendation of fairy tales that you could just tell me? Just in case. I really need more fairy tales in my life. Well, this is it. If you like the review, as I said before, you can give me a like, you can subscribe, you can comment and answer my questions. And also, if you want more, don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the next ride with me. I hope you're having a great time, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!